All right, so today we're going to learn about how to delete alternate rows, add alternate rows, delete alternate columns, and finally how to add alternate columns, right? Now let's begin with this first worksheet where we're talking about delete alternate rows. First, let's learn about three functions, right? First is column function. What does column function do for us? It basically returns the column number of the reference that we provide to it, right? So for example, let's go ahead, type equals column, press tab to select it, and I say this is the reference where this cell value furniture sits, right? C4. And if I press enter, it gives me a value 3. So what it basically means is that this value C4 in this function which you have given here basically is this, right? And this cell sits in the third column of the worksheet. So first column, second column, and third column, right? If I had given this as um, this reference, it would have fetched me 2 because B4, which is this reference which I gave, sits in the second column, right? So this is what column function does for us. It returns the column number in the Excel worksheet. And row function works exactly the same, except this gives us the row number of the cell reference that we provided, right? So if I say equals row, press tab, and then give the reference as, say, this, and I close the bracket, I say enter, it gives me 7, right? Because this which we selected happens to sit in the 7th row. Now what happens if I don't give any reference and close the bracket directly? It gives me 12. Now what it basically means is that when I open bracket and then close it, Excel takes the reference to be the same cell in which you're entering the value, right? So it has given me 12th row because this is the cell reference and it happens to sit in the 12th row. Now let's learn about what mod function does. So mod function needs a number and a divisor, right? And what mod function would do is it would divide this number by this divisor and give us the remainder, right? So if I say equals to mod, open bracket, number, let's say it is 3 divided by 2, and close the bracket and enter. Obviously, as we know, any odd number divided by 2 would fetch us a remainder 1. And here it is, it has given us a remainder of 1. We can also use mod function with the help of the row number. For example, over here we see 12. Let's take the number dividend as this row number and divide it by the divisor 2. So instead of this 3, I'll take this as the reference. So now Excel would divide 12 by 2 and give me the remainder. And obviously every even number when divided by 2 gives us a remainder of 0. So it has given me 0, right? Now I'm going to use this helper column here for me to ultimately be able to delete the alternate cells, right? Let's say I want to delete all the even rows and keep all the odd rows intact, right? Let me come here and use the if function along with the mod and row function which we learned, right? I'll say mod, open bracket, number would be the row reference. I'll press tab to open bracket. I'll close bracket because I want the row number of the cell in which I am currently. I'll press comma. My divisor would be 2. I'll close bracket. So what Excel will do so far would be that it would solve this mod function and give me the row number, which happens to be 3 in this case. And then if I divide it by this 2, it would give me a remainder of 1, right? Let me go ahead and type equals 0. So basically it will not be equal to 0 because the remainder which this function will give me is 1, as we just discussed. If the remainder is 1 and not 0, it basically means that the row number is an odd row. So I'll say comma, if it is equal to 0, say within double quotations, delete. If it is not equal to 0, that means it will be an odd row. Give me OK. I close bracket and say enter. And then I come here and double click for it to auto populate. It has said OK, delete, OK, delete, OK, delete, right? If you notice, all OKs seem to be the odd rows and all deletes seem to be the even number of rows, right? A2, A4, A6. Now we want the even number of rows, even numbered rows to be gone. So let me go ahead and change these to regular values. I copied it, come here, right click, paste special, select the values option and say OK. And now what I'll do is come here, filter down to the ones which say delete. I say OK. So I know A2, A4, A6 got filtered out. I'll just come here, select these rows, right click and say delete row. It asks me delete entire sheet row. I say OK. And I remove the filter and see that just the odd rows are intact and the even rows are now gone, right? I can simply delete this helper column because I don't need it anymore. And our aim has been achieved. We've deleted all the alternate rows which we did not want, right? Now let's come to adding of alternate rows. How do we do that, right? We have these many rows here. If we want one row after each row having information, how do we do that? It's very simple. I come to this helper column which I've created. I type 1, then 2, select these together, double click this for it to flow 3 and 4, copy this, come here, paste it again. I'll select this entire region. I'll come to sort and I check options. Yeah, it is sort top to bottom, correct, that's what I want. And sort based on helper column. Now what you need to know is that this one has data towards its left, whereas this one has all blanks towards its left. Similarly, this 2 has data towards its left hand side, and whereas this 2 has blanks towards its left hand side. Now when I say sort, what Excel would do is that it would align 1, then 1, then 2, and then 2. So let me go ahead and say OK. All right, what Excel has done is this one with data towards its left is the first, and then comes the other one, and then comes 2, and then comes again the 2 with the blanks towards its left, and then 3, and then 4. Now I can simply remove this column by deleting it. And now I have alternate rows added between each of the rows, right? So yeah, this is how we do it. And let's now look at deleting alternate columns, right? Now let's say I want to keep the even rows intact and I want to delete the odd columns, right? Let's say I want to keep the even columns intact, right? Column 2, column 4, column 6 intact. And I want to delete the odd columns, right? How do I do that? We have inserted a line above this table, and I use the function equals to if. Logical test would be mod. Number would be derived from the column number. So I'll use column function. I say COL and then press tab to open bracket. And the reference happens to be the same column in which we are, which is the first column. I'll say comma. The divisor would be 2, like close bracket, and say equals to 0, comma. So if it happens to be equal to 0, it would be an even. And if it is an even, give me okay, double quotations, and comma. If it is an odd, you say delete. So double quotations, say delete, close double quotes, close the bracket, and enter. All right. Now I'll come here and drag this towards the right hand side till the last column. All right. So what I'll do now is I'll copy these and convert them to values first. So I come to paste special, check the values, I say okay, right? And now I can go ahead and select this entire data region. And notice that the even columns, headers are space needed, and then manpower, and finally employment type. So we want these columns and we don't want anything else, right? I'll come to sort and go to options, and this time I'm going to sort left to right because you have delete okay from left till the right. I'll say okay and sort by row number 2 because in row number 2 we have these headers of delete okay, right? I'll say okay, and I see that whatever needs to be deleted has now been aggregated towards the left hand side because D alphabetically comes first and then comes O. So I can straight away go and delete these columns, and I'll do a right click, I'll say delete, and now I have the columns which I needed intact, right? Space needed, manpower, and employment type. I can straight away go ahead here and delete this row because I don't need it, right? And this is what I needed. The odd columns have been deleted, and I only have whatever was earlier the even column, right? So this is how you delete alternate columns. Now let's go ahead and see how we can add alternate columns, right? All right, so that's very simple. All I need to do is come here, press 1, and then come to this cell, press 2, select these together and drag it towards the right. Copy this, come here, paste it again, and then select this entire region, right? And then go to data, sort, check in options, it's left to right, correct? So let it be, and sort by row number 2 because that's where we have added these 1, 2, 3, 4s. And if I say okay, it will sort it smallest to largest. So there'll be 1 here, and then the second column would again be 1 because this one will go from here and sit here in the second column, and then this 2 will go here, and then this 2 will come and sit next to it, right? So if you notice, in essence, there will be column number 1 with data below it, and then there will be another column 1 from here which goes and sits here, and it will have blanks. And then comes the data filled 2 column which has data below it, and then there will be uh, a column with 2 as the header but blanks below it. Right? I'll say okay, and as we wanted, we have now added alternate columns between the existing columns, right? I can straight away select this and delete this because we don't need it anymore, and we have basically what we wanted, right? Let me just auto adjust the width, and this is what we want. So thank you for watching. I hope you understood everything, and if you do have any doubts, please uh, comment below in the comment section, and I will try and answer most of the questions that are being asked from me. Thank you. Please do like, share, and subscribe if you really liked this video, and don't forget to press the bell icon.